Hello everyone and welcome to this particular video. So in this video we are going to see how we can mass hunt the XSS vulnerability, which is the cross-site scripting vulnerability, with and without GF patterns. So there's a disclaimer. This video is only made for educational purposes and I do not encourage anyone or discourage anyone for the usage of any tools. Alright, so let's quickly jump on to GF first and let's discuss about what is GF. In my previous videos, we have already discussed about this tool, which is GF, which is grep wrapper. Alright, so I see many of you have some issues and difficulties in the installation of GF. So again, I'm going to show you the installation of GF. It is pretty simple. You just need to have Go installed into your computer, as this particular tool is going to run in Go itself. So for installation of Go, you can just go onto the official website of Golang and you can download Go from there. Once you have installed Go into your computer, you can download it from here, and once you have installed Go, you need to export the path. So for that, you just need to export the Go path environment variable into your computer. You can just see for your particular distribution, whatever you're using, which command you need to run for exporting the Go path for your computer. Once this is done, you have successfully exported the Go path. It should run perfectly fine from any particular screen. If you're not able to do it, or you're not able to export the Go path, you can still run this tool manually. Let me show you how. So you just need to git clone this particular repository. Once you have git cloned this particular repository, we can go inside this repo and you can see these are all the files over here. So you can simply type go run main.go and this will run the GF tool. Now, as you can see, it has not identified any pattern because we have not given any pattern. Now what you can do is you can copy this main.go, or you can just rename it first and copy it to your USR local bin with any name. So let's say you can give it gf.go. You can copy paste it over there, and once you have copy pasted, you can call it from any particular screen, or you can also add a alias into your computer. So once you have added a successful alias for your computer, so let's say I call it xyz equals to, so whatever the path is, so we have downloaded this over here, so this is the path, so we can give a alias as xyz and let's give the path and the path was main.go. So this will automatically start the GF whenever I type xyz into my computer. And now as you can see, it says permission denied because I need to give permissions. So I can just type chmod 777 to everything over here into this particular directory, and then I can try to run this. Okay, so I have still got an error. I know why. So I'm just going to type here go run and again hit enter, and I'm going to type xyz, and you can see now from any screen I can just type xyz and it is going to act as GF. Alright, so this was the manual way to do it. Of course, you can do it in much more easy way. Once you have exported the Go path, you can just simply copy this command, which is go get and the path of the GF, and it will automatically get installed into your computer. You can also enable the auto completion feature by copying this and pasting into your bash rc. So you can just copy paste this into your terminal, and this will enable the GF completion script that is going to help us when we need to run some of the GF patterns. Or you can also copy paste the GF examples, which are the GF patterns, into this particular hidden directory. So remember, whenever you install GF, it gets installed somewhere over here when you're installing through Go. So it gets installed into a hidden directory over here. As you can see here, when I come, I'm sorry, you need to come into the GF directory, and you can see here there is a successful installation, and here you can copy paste all the patterns that you can take from the examples folder. So you can copy paste these particular patterns which have been given by this security researcher into this particular GitHub repository. I have myself made more patterns which I use into my day-to-day life. Also, when I am hunting on different platforms, whenever I get some of the parameters that are vulnerable and which are not there already into this GF patterns, I add them over here. So I have added around 99 patterns of my own that I use into my day-to-day life when I'm hunting on targets, and all these patterns are being added extensively by researching on different applications and identifying which are the most common parameters that are being identified to be vulnerable for specific kind of vulnerabilities like XSS, LFI, SSRF, etc. Alright, so once you have installed GF into your computer, you can also get some more GF patterns from here, which is this particular repository, Indian Lead GF patterns, and you can copy paste this GF patterns into the same directory that I have shown over here into this particular hidden directory. So once you have all the GF patterns ready with you, now we can start the hunting. So for this particular video, we are going to take the example of test php.vulnweb, which is a vulnerable web application for our testing, and the attack that we are going to see is XSS attack. Alright, so the first thing that we should do whenever we are there onto our terminal is we are going to run wayback URLs to get the target URLs for our target. So this way you can get all the URLs for this specific target. I will hit enter and I will be able to crawl all the URLs. I have already done this, so I'm going to skip this particular step. Let me just close this and let me show you the URLs. So here are all the URLs that have been saved, and let me show you the count. There are around 136 URLs that have been saved from wayback URLs for the target, which is test.php.vulnweb.com. Alright, now I'm going to run the GF XSS pattern onto this, and we are going to see how many URLs do we get now. And you can see the URLs have been reduced to 38. So what exactly have happened over here is the GF tool has matched the parameters which can be seen over here. Let me show you over here into the xss.json. So these are all the parameters which have been matched into the URLs that we have retrieved from wayback URLs. So in total we got 136 URLs, but out of that only 38 URLs match with these all parameters which we are able to see onto our screen. Alright, so we have in total 38 URLs with those vulnerable parameters according to the GF patterns. Now we need to test this if these are actually vulnerable. So what we are going to do now is we are going to use QS replace tool. For those who do not know about QS replace is also a tool which has been made by Tom Nom Nom, and again it is a very awesome tool. The main functionality of this tool is to get the URLs and replace the parameters with your own keyword. As you can see over here, these are the URLs which contains the parameter 1, 2, and with the help of QS replace, you are replacing the new value in the place of the values of these parameters, which you can see over here. So this way what we can do is we can replace the parameters value with our XSS payload. Installation of QS replace is again very simple. You just need to have go installed, and you can copy paste this command into your computer, or you can download a release version from the assets which you can see over here, which is compatible for your operating system, if it is Linux, Windows, FreeBSD or Mac OS. Alright, so once this is done, let's move further, and let's say I rename all the particular values of parameters to fuzz, and let me hit enter. And now you can see all the parameters have been replaced by the value which is fuzz, as you can see over here. Now when these are replaced, I'm going to run a payload instead of fuzz. So I need to put my payload inside these single brackets. So let me type my XSS payload. So for testing purposes, I'm going to use the most common and basic payload. So let me just type it and hit enter. So now you can see all our URLs with our XSS payload. Now when we have done this, we need to test each URL to check if they are vulnerable or not. So obviously we cannot do that manually one by one. So we are going to take the help of curl, and also we are going to write a while loop to do that. So I've already done that. Let me show you over here, and you can see over here I'm going to replace, with the help of QS replace, the payload, and then I'm going to save it into a file because I may require these endpoints later on. And then I'm going to write a do while loop, wherein you can see I'm going to send a curl request, which is a silent request, path as is, and send insecure request as well to the particular host. And what are the hosts? The hosts are these URLs which we have got from test.php.vulnerweb.com, and we have replaced the parameters value with our payload. Now we are passing those particular URLs to curl, and in the response we are going to grep for something. We are going to grep for our payload. What does this mean? This means if our payload is not properly sanitized or it is not filtered properly, then it is going to replace at it is going to reflect as it is into our response. So we are going to grep for that, and if we are able to see that, then we are going to print that it is vulnerable, and if it does not reflect, then we are going to print it is not vulnerable, and then we are stopping our loop by done. Over here, one thing you can notice is that I have also used color coding, as you can see over here, wherein 31M stands for this is red color and 32M is green color. This is nothing fancy. This is only colors which you can see for command line color codes. If you just type this, then you will be able to see for each color code what you can use for your command line. So if you want to study about color codings, you can just come on to this particular website and you can read about the color codings. You can use anything that you want. I want to demonstrate my vulnerable URLs with the help of red color and non-vulnerable with the help of green color. Alright, so let me just run this and let's see what happens. So I'm going to run it. Let me copy this, go here and hit enter. I'm sorry. Now let me again run this, and here we are going to run this with the help of GF patterns. So let me again read the file. So the file was test.php way back URLs, and then we are going to perform GF, and we are going to identify XSS patterns, and then we are going to supply it to QS replace. And now let's hit enter. Now you can see it has started, and it is going to identify if any URL is vulnerable to XSS attack or not. As you can see, the scan has successfully completed, and we have got some of the URLs that say it is vulnerable. Let's confirm them to be vulnerable. So let me just copy this particular URL because it says vulnerable. So let me go to my browser and manually confirm this. Let me hit enter and let's see. Yep, I have got a successful XSS over here. Perfect. Now, as expected, we are able to find XSS and we can mask scale this on a very large number of URLs through Wayback URLs. Now, there is one thing which we will miss in long run that I have observed with GF patterns. Now, let me show you some of the comparisons that I have done using GF and without GF. So I have taken some of the URLs for a target which I have saved into this particular file, which is optirohit.txt. This contains all the crawled URLs from Wayback URLs. Now, let me show you first cat, and let me show you how many URLs are there into this particular file. So there are around 40,000 URLs for this specific target. But when I do GF and try to find for specific XSS patterns for this particular target, then my results get reduced to 593 only, as you can see over here, which is a very drastic change into the number of URLs that are being matched according to the GF XSS patterns that we are using. Now, just to show the comparison, what I'm going to do is from these URLs, I'm going to do GF XSS onto this particular URLs, and then out of those URLs I'm going to grep this particular keyword, which is source, because I know this target is vulnerable to XSS, wherein the vulnerable parameter is source. So let me just show you first for source equals to parameter, and let me run this and let me hit enter. So basically in this script, what we are doing is we are going to give all the URLs to GF XSS, and it is going to identify that 593 URLs contains the pattern which match the XSS GF patterns, and out of that we are only going to take those URLs which contains the keyword source equals to, and we are going to replace it with our payload, and then again we are running a curl command, which is again a while do while loop, and over here we are only going to grep for vulnerable host. So let's see how many vulnerable host do we get for this particular target using GF XSS pattern and by only grepping the source parameter. As you can see, we have only got 3 targets or 3 URLs to be vulnerable. As you can see, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Now to confirm, we can also copy paste one of the URLs into the browser. So let's say we try to confirm if they are vulnerable or not. So let me just copy this and let's verify. And let's see if we get a XSS over here, and you can see we are able to get a successful XSS. Now, the main motive over here is to do a comparison of GF XSS and without GF XSS. Alright, so now what we are going to do is we are not going to do GF XSS, but we are going to grep all the parameters which are source into these URLs. So let's see this first, for how many URLs are there which contains the keyword source, and let's count them. And you can see we have got 859 URLs that contains the keyword source, but with the help of GF XSS we only got 3. Alright, now let's see if we identify them to be vulnerable without GF XSS and if we get more number of results or not. Just to confirm, I'm going to hit enter, and we are going to see when this starts that do we get more number of vulnerable targets than 3, because in GF XSS we got only 3 URLs to be vulnerable according to the pattern matching, and without using the GF pattern, we are just specifically running grep on this particular keyword or the parameter, which is source, we have got more number of results compared to the GF patterns. As you can see, obviously these URLs are more than 3, and let me confirm if they are also really vulnerable to XSS. So let me just open up incognito window and let's confirm it over here, and you can see we have got a successful XSS over here, and you can see the parameter here was redirect, and somewhere UTM source must be there, as you can see over here. Alright, so the main motive of showing this is that we are getting more number of results when we do it without GF XSS patterns, which basically means that we may get some of less results when we are doing pattern matching with the help of GF patterns. And when I was doing this on many programs, I have seen that many parameters onto that particular target web applications are not matching with GF patterns, and due to which I was missing some of the critical XSS vulnerabilities on many of the URLs. So this may hurt your results in the long run. So I would prefer that you try to hunt on each parameter, but not specifically for the GF pattern given parameters only. One more example I can give is, let's say there is a developer who sees all the particular parameters which are given in the GF patterns list on the GitHub, and he makes his mind that he do not want to use all those parameters into his web application. At that time, you will not get any particular URL or results with the help of GF XSS pattern, which will definitely hurt your results. So to overcome this, what I have done is, I basically, whenever I'm onto any target, I grep equals to. When I grep equals to, at that particular time, I'm choosing all the particular parameters from those URLs, and then from those URLs, I'm going to egrep and I'm going to remove all the URLs which contains this type of noise, which is JPG, GIF, CSS, because I do not want URLs that are matching with GIF, PNG or icon. So I'm going to remove them from my list, and then I'm going to run on each particular parameter. I'm going to test each particular parameter. So if I show you this, and let's see how many URLs do we get for testing. So let's say grep. I'm just going to grep equals to, and let me show you. As you can see, we have got 9672, which is exactly a lot. It is huge number of URLs to test which contains parameter. With the help of GF XSS pattern, we were able to get less number of URLs. Now let's try to filter more, and now to filter more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the particular URLs which contains all this noise, which contains JPG, which contains CSS. I'm going to remove this, and let's see how many results do we get. As you can see, it has decreased to 4882. Still, I have a lot of URLs now to test for any specific vulnerability. So here, this has turned out to be much more useful for me in many of the web applications, because two web applications may not have the same vulnerable parameter every time, or our pattern matching may not work out on many of the websites, because maybe they are using some types of different keywords, or let's say different types of patterns. So let's say a website is using a pattern which is Rohit, which is a parameter which is not there into the GF XSS pattern list, then it may hurt your results. But when we are going to use this simple trick to identify the number of parameters, and we are going to remove the clutter and noise using egrep-iv, at that time you're not missing any particular parameter, and you are testing on all the parameters. So this way you will get more success into your pen testing or bug bounties, and you will not miss any of the results. So I hope you guys understood how you can do this. In upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how you can automate the process of replacing the payloads as well. As in this video, we have only seen we are giving a simple basic script alert one payload. In upcoming videos, we will see how we can automate the process of replacing the payloads as well, as many of the web applications may even be blocking script tags. At that time, we are not going to get accurate results over here. So we'll keep that for the next video, and we will see how we can replace the list of payloads as well. I hope you guys understood how you can do this and how you can mass scale your hunting and get a lot of success. Thank you.